Black people are going to save America from Joe Biden. Black people always save America. I know that's just what it is.
I don't agree with that part. Black people aren't going to save anything. Let's not. Come on now. Black people aren't going to save anything. That's not a thing that's going to happen in real life. I have a clip prepared, one from the rapper called YG and another from Sexyy Red, the female hip hop artist from St. Louis. And the two of them say the same thing in terms of giving reason as to why Black people in the hood in particular are beginning to take a liking to Trump. And the reasons that they give are not reasons that are rooted in principle. They're not reasons that are rooted in morality or in values or anything substantive. They are reasons that are pretty much derivative of a kind of childishness. It's this kind of childish passion that a lot of these Black people have that makes them take a liking to someone like a Trump. And that to me brings the bona fides of Trump into question.
So Black people is like, yo, champ, we might need Donnie back in there. I'm here in the hood.
Think so?
We got tricked.
To think that people who belong to a culture that produces childishness is going to save America for no other reason than that they are tricked. I mean, to me, that's such an asinine thing to say. Let's look at some of the reasons as to why Black folks in the hood are beginning to flock around the likes of Donald J. Trump.
To me, it seemed like more Black guys would mess with Trump because he seems more like connected to the culture a little bit.
Hey, look, I ain't gonna lie, bro. The Black community was not with Trump, you know what I'm saying? But when that PPP and all that came out, Black people forgave him.
Because he helped out?
Yeah.
Now, I'm not a Trump apologist by any means, but for YG to say Black people forgave him, like, what was there to forgive? Again, the sins that Black folks thought that Donald Trump committed were not real. They just weren't real. Rather, they were the utterances put forth by the mainstream media. The mainstream media convinced Black folks that Donald Trump was a racist, that Donald Trump was a sexist, that Donald Trump was this, that, and the third. That's what the media did, and Black folks went along with it.
He has a particular venom for Blacks and people of color.
If you ask the average Black person back then, is Donald Trump racist? Majority of them would have said yes. But if you would have asked them, well, how? Give me an example of how he's racist. The majority of them also would not have been able to give you any kind of substantive answer to validate or confirm their belief that Donald Trump was a racist. And so when YG says that Black people forgave him, don't give a lot of weight or credence to what it is he's saying, because you don't hold the moral high ground to forgive or withhold forgiveness in the first place, because you weren't sinned against. Forgiveness comes after you are sinned against. Donald Trump did not sin against Black people, at least not in the way that the media at the time was convincing Black folks that he did. If anything, Trump needed to save his image in the minds of Black folks, which was tarnished, but not by something substantive that he himself had done, but by the slanderous rhetoric of the mainstream media. And according to folks like YG, according to the folks like Sexyy Red, which we're about to see here in a moment, he was able to successfully do that. I disagree wholeheartedly with the way in which he was able to redeem himself or save his image in the minds of Black folks.
I'm speaking on the motherfuckers in the hood and shit in the streets. I'm speaking on their behalf. You feel me? Let them tell it. You feel me? This is what they say.
Yeah.
Biden ain't did nothing for us. That Trump was passing out money. We with Trump. I'm like, damn, so y'all back with Trump just like that, huh? niggas like, hell yeah, nigga was passing out money. I'm like, damn, that's crazy.
How many conservatives do you know who believes in fiscal responsibility, who believes in the free market, who believes in entrepreneurship and meritocracy, that people shouldn't get out of a thing, something that they have not put in? Like, that's what conservatism is. How many conservatives do you know who are passing out money? That's socialism, is what that is. That's communism. Conservatives don't just pass out money. Now, of course, to be fair to Trump, He didn't exactly pass out money, but he did help to pass the stimulus package and the PPP loans and all that nonsense. And you got a lot of black people from the hood who are already socialists. I mean, this is proven by the Cato Institute study that was conducted in 2018 that asked the question, which do you favor more, capitalism or socialism? Black people overwhelmingly chose socialism. So most black people in America are socialists. They just are. Most black people in America are socialists. This is the reason why election after election after election, they vote for Democrats, because Democrats validate socialism verbally, audibly, more so than the Republicans. Republicans do too, don't get me wrong. And I can give you examples of this. But Democrats are not shy about the fact that they embrace socialism. Since the majority of black people in America are socialists, according to the Cato Institute study, naturally, they tend to vote for Democrats. And so it becomes a question of who can be the most socialist. In comes Donald Trump. At least I'm telling you, in the minds of these people, you just heard what YG said. Oh, Trump is passing out money. This is the notion or the idea that a lot of black folks in the hood have. They believe that Trump passed out money. We can get into the technicalities of, well, technically he didn't pass out money. We can get into that. That's a separate conversation. But according to them, Donald Trump passed out money like a true socialist. And this is the reason why we are behind Trump. We're riding behind Trump. So let's see if Sexyy Red agrees with YG.
Hey, do you think more people are going to support Trump now in the hood or no?
Yeah, they support him in the hood. Because at first, I don't think people was with him like they thought he was racist, saying little shit and, you know, against women. But once he started getting black people out of jail and giving people their free money.
Yep, free money.
Oh, baby, we love Trump. We need him back in office.
Yeah, a little bit of free money goes a long way.
We need him back.
Again, free money. Once he started getting people out of jail and giving away free money, now we love Trump. Now, what part about that is conservative? And what's that she said about getting drug dealers out of jail?
Once he started getting black people out of jail and giving people their free money.
Yep.
A person who is engaging in the selling and trafficking of drugs is not an upstanding citizen. They should be tried and convicted to the fullest extent of the law. They just should. And so for Donald Trump, who is the Republican president of the United States of America, is issuing pardons to people who have been convicted of drug crimes, thus sending the message that it's not that big of a deal. It's not that bad of a crime. What that does is that undermines law and order, because we have due process, we have our penal code, we have, you know what I mean? We have these systems in place for a reason. And the reason is to send a message for those who are considering involving themselves in criminal activity, that if you make that decision to engage yourself in criminal activity, you will be tried to the fullest extent of the law. That is the purpose. That is the purpose of these sentences. Again, law and order, because we want a civilized society. And a civilized society has at its foundation law and order. And so for Trump to, issue these pardons so as to send a dog whistle to the black community that I'm with you, not you shouldn't be quote unquote criminalized, once again, which is a talking point by the left. You are confirming the left's talking points. You are giving credence to their talking points. And you're saying to black folks, look, I can move to the left of the left. I can move to the left of the Democrat Party, thus vote for me. And what tends to happen after this is a lot of Republicans say, yes, we have a lot of people from the hood now voting for Trump. When the right looks like the left, you have a uniparty. We are now beginning to see this kind of voluntary uniparty that's based upon not having a strong sense of moral values, but rather based upon this kind of nod and wink to indulgence, to vice, to frivolousness, and to just backwards culture. And so you might agree or be celebrating. You might be sitting, at work or in your car or wherever you're listening to this podcast, and you might be fist pumping and celebrating the fact that you heard these two people who claim to be representative of the hood say that they are behind Trump, or that they know a lot of black folks who are behind Trump. You might think that's a great thing, but my question to you is, at what expense? At what cost? We already live in a two-party system. And prospectively speaking, the left represents worldliness, this kind of frivolous, do what thou wilt. There are no such thing as morals. There are no such thing as values. There are no such thing as principles. Prospectively speaking, that's what the left represents. Prospectively speaking, conservatism represents family values, going to church and being frugal with what you spend, and everybody should have a shot at gaining a skill or a talent to compete in the free market. These are the ideas, prospectively speaking, that are supposed to be held by conservatives. But if the premier kind of face of republicanism, who in our day and age happens to be Donald J. Trump, is doing things, at least in the minds of black folks, doing things that are more becoming of socialism than conservatism, then it begs the question as to what is the current state and what is the direction in which the modern conservative movement is going. Is it going to a place where it is going to look indistinguishable from the left? These are the kind of things that I think about. I don't think about winning the next election. I think about the bigger picture. You see, the conservatives are so out of touch when it comes to culture, when it comes to influencing culture, when it comes to getting into positions of influence so as to begin to turn the tide against this, demoralization that we've seen taking place over the last 60 years. They have no interest in doing that. They have no interest in turning the tide, culturally speaking. They're lame. They just are. And so because they can't win in the culture, they try to win in the political realm. And they do such a poor job at that because they're doing so. They're fighting not with the tools of true conservatism. They're fighting with the tools of leftism. When you fight fire with fire, you just build a bigger fire. They're not coming with an extinguisher. They're not coming with an extinguisher. They're coming with more fire. They want to look just like the left and think that they're going to do something. So if you grow the tent of the Republican Party by looking more like the left, you can have it. You can have it. This is why I don't walk around calling myself a Republican. Because what are y'all doing that is different than what the Democrats are doing? What is it? What are y'all doing that is different than what the Democrats are doing?